I can just hear the tractor guys now. I got an auger for that. I would have had it done in 2 minutes. Oh, that's my tractor. I can mow weeds. It's finally below 90 degrees, which means it's good to go on transplanting. We're weeks away from our first big freeze, so we want to get those trees in the ground so they can get a little bit established before they go to sleep for winter. Today we're planting 2 Shinseiki pears, which will go well with the 8 that I've got behind me. See, we're developing this part of the property to be the new orchard. I've got everything I need. I grabbed the compost. While I'm on this side of the property with all the equipment, I'm gonna take care of the entire orchard. I'll be pulling the drip system, rototilling, and then hitting it with some fire. Fire is your best friend when you're fighting morning glories or goat heads. Morning glories are actually a little bit more devastating because they'll actually attack the tree and choke it out. Let's put a little flame to it. Weed burner does a great job at sterilizing the soil, burning back the morning glories, destroying a lot of the seeds that are in our way at this point. There we go. I had to turn that down a little bit so I could talk to you. So inside the tree well, I'm going to burn that real hot. I'm going to take care of a lot of the seeds that are in there, try to kill as much of this morning glory as possible. In between the trees, all I'm looking to do is damage the plant. I'm not going to sit there and cook it to ash like I do inside the tree well. Well, just because we use fire doesn't mean we don't have a little bit of manual labor to do. Next step is to rototill, and if this stuff gets wrapped around the tines of your rototiller, it's going to cause strain on your transmission, thus making that piece of equipment not last as long as it needs to, and they're not cheap. Next step, rototilling. Depending on the tree size, I like to do a few laps around the larger trees, a couple laps around the smaller trees, get everything broken up real nice. That way the water, nutrients, oxygen, everything that the tree roots need, it's more accessible if the ground above it is broken up. Next, we'll use a hard tine rake to rake out the tree wells, probably anywhere from 5 to 6 feet. After you have the tree wells sorted out, I like to go back through, throw a shovelful or 2 of our composting mix, then fill it up with water. This will allow that mix to start breaking down and not blow away. This is the point where I get real jealous of the tractor guys because I know they can just come through with an auger and pop these in. As my technique has developed or degraded over the years, I've kind of gravitated towards the post hole digger. I find that's an easy tool to use. It supplies a lot of the downward force, and it doesn't require me to bend over and get into positions that really tax my body. And we've almost got all the prep work done. We're going to fill them up with water, throw a scoop or 2 of the compost in there, make a nice little tea, let that drain down, and we're all ready to plant. Well, I've got the holes dug. I've got the compost laid out. I mixed it with about 40% native soil, filled the holes up with water, and now I'm just waiting for them to drain. Well, it's been a couple days since I've been out here. We've had some weather. I've had some help with this project, but I think you're going to like what's going on behind me because we took this actually to a whole different level. While we had the equipment out, it just made sense to go ahead and finish another row. That way we're all set for bear rut season. When this ground gets really cold and I'm not able to push through with a shovel, these areas I will. This pasture pretty much lacks nutrients. We have what I call dirt, and we're gonna make it into soil. Here's a reference of what we got going in today. I've got some eggs that were taken out of the incubator. Those are gonna go along the edges. We've got about 40% native soil, well-rotted compost, along with some fresh chicken manure and chicken bedding. There is a school of thought where the fresh bedding isn't a great idea because, well, undigested or uncomposted wood, well, that simply locks up some nutrients. We're planting not only for today, but we're planting for the worms. The worms are gonna love everything that I've got on here, and the microbes, they're gonna love this biochar. What we're trying to do is call the worms up. So we want worms in this area. When I dug this hole, absolutely no life. I'm feeding the worms and the microbes are gonna feed the tree, and that's how it all works. One of the most important parts is make sure you don't get anything that's uncomposted right on the plant roots or have it piled up. I need to find out exactly how deep I need to plant this tree, getting this tree out of the container. We have some good root activity. We've got some spirals going on here that we're just gonna break loose a little bit, and we're gonna kind of pull this bottom layer down. And we're trying to break the bad habit that's going on here. Circular growing. We don't want that to continue in the hole, otherwise we'll have a stunted tree. We're going to massage these loose and pretty much just continue to do what I'm doing here. Don't worry about ripping. See, we got a good one there to come free. And you just kind of continue to work it, continue to work it. And we're going to look at the structure of the tree because we want to know how deep we're going to go. We're going to drop the tree in and plant it right at this node here. So let's grab my favorite tool, Cultivator Maddox, and that's going to tell me what my ground level is. I'm going to want to bring this up a little bit, so I'll pull it back. What I like to do is mix my planting components and put them on the outside ring. So we've got about 40% native soil along with our composting mixes. We're going to bring some of that in because we are a little bit too deep. Now that we've got an idea where we're going to sit, this is feeling really nice. I'm going to go ahead and bring a little bit more in, and I'm going to compact this down. We want a solid base. And there we go. Right now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and dress in and pull apart any of these roots that I can get to go a little bit deeper into the hole. I'm going to bring in some backfill, drop some eggs in there. Eggs are on the outside. I'm not breaking them. So once again, we're feeding the worms. The worms will find these and get them broken down for us. I'm going to go ahead and fill up this hole about halfway. And I'm going to give it a good press down, a nice firm press. Try to get this to lock in a little bit. Sweep in the rest of the material that we need. We're planted up just a little bit high because things are going to compress. And that should get us taken care of. It gets really windy up here during the winter and early spring. I'm going to leave the factory stake in there. I am going to take it out during the spring when I come back to prune the trees behind me. Why didn't I mention pruning this one? Because there's nothing wrong, nothing broken. Everything looks good. I'm not going to prune any of my trees until they're about 3 or 4 years old unless I see signs of breakage, disease, cross branches that are going to impede its growth. I'm not going to feed the tree directly with a 10-10-10 or anything to that effect. I may consider doing that in springtime, but I actually don't want to promote any new growth. It's got the compost that's going to feed the worms. The worms are going to bring in the microbes are going to feed the tree. We're promoting a natural environment, one that feeds the tree like it would in nature. I have the well smoothed out. We've got the tree planted. It's at the height that we need it. Let's pan out a little bit and see what I was up to while you guys were gone. Some might have noticed that the hole I'm working in now wasn't the hole I dug the other day that I showed on camera. Absolutely true. Dad came out and helped plant those trees. We can see those right behind us. This fall, we were able to do 4 Shinseiki pears. Along with finishing this row, I went ahead and replicated the process back here. So next time we have a tree, there is very minimal prep work that needs to be done. Water is going to be another tool that we use to help lock everything down. Fill that tree well all the way up to the top.